Pat Fitzgerald and company, I think they needed some help on defensive lines. So what do they get today out of the portal? Some help at defensive lines. Thank you very much.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This episode of Locked On Spartans is brought to you by GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, how on earth are we all doing? As yes, it's another game day here for our men's basketball team. We're going to get to all that with our guy Jacob Goins of Locked On Hoosiers in segments 2 and 3. But first, guys, it is all things portal all the time here. At least for this month, it seems like, right? Because when you're a fan of a team that needs 40-ish new players, it's going to be a busy season. And it has been one for Pat Fitzgerald on both sides of the ball. And the latest beneficiaries of the transfer portal activity come from the defensive side of the ball, right there in the trenches, and just picking up on a conversation we were having yesterday. So, okay, where else does Michigan State need help out of the portal? When you started, every position needed a little bit of love. But as we've added on a few dozen, it seems like, commits out of the portal, where else do we still need some bodies, some talent? Defensive line, whether that's the edge position, more on that in a little bit, or the interior defensive line, just on depth alone, not even talent, just on depth alone, you needed bodies. But hey, maybe you got a little bit of both with Eli Coenen. Both depth and talent from this young player from Illinois. That's right. We're going inside our own conference to nab a player to play in the trenches, because Eli Coenen at 6'7", 290 pounds, he had a pretty productive season for Illinois while, coming in from Bemidji State. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Bemidji State? That's always a weird one that rolls off the tongue. Anyway, whatever, guys. He had 2 years there at his previous stop. He comes into Big Ten play, quite the leap forward, but he played in all 12 games, 201 snaps, so decent enough of a rotation player. But what I like about this, he only saw his role grow by the end of the year. 63% of his snaps came in those final 5 games. Not too shabby. Also, if you want to include their postseason, their bowl game, he had a solid game against Tennessee, too. He racked up his lone sack for the year. But, hey, this is a really solid pickup for Michigan State. He's young, just wrapped up his redshirt sophomore season. He's going to add experience to this room that comes from a Big Ten level. If you've listened to our other shows, and I think it's too early to tell if this works or not. We're not seeing a lot of other Power 4 transfers. There's a lot of guys that have produced at a much lower level. FCS, Group of 6. They've had a few Division II guys on for some visits, but you get the point. It's a lot of guys that were starters or high production players at their previous stops. This is a little different. A little bit of production. And look, when it comes to Eli Coenen, if you just go to the snap counts of Illinois, they're rotating their defensive tackles pretty heavily. It seemed to be there was this 6-man rotation. I think it was 6 guys or maybe even 7 that got at least 200 snaps at defensive tackle for Illinois. So heavy rotation for Brett Bielema down there in Champaign. So he often played over tackle, played a little bit outside of the tackle shoulder, but look, they played nose tackle, 2 more additional tackles, and like I said, they rotated pretty heavily here. Now, look, we reached out to our guy, Sonny, who does outstanding work for Locked On Illini, and I just said, hey, any thoughts on Eli Coenen? Why not? And he was actually pretty optimistic about this pickup for a Michigan State perspective here. He said, quote, really solid pickup by you guys. Rotational is his floor, which I like to hear that. Had a great bowl game for us, and I thought he was going to have a role on our team last year. Him entering the transfer portal was a surprise to most. So, look, he was backlogged by a few guys ahead of him. Yes, there were a few seniors on Illinois last year, but he also shared the room with a few other talented sophomores. So, I don't know if the departure was, okay, well, I want to go to a place where I'm bona fide starter day one, or if I have a more realistic shot at getting a lion's share of the snaps, that could be the situation. But either way you slice it, this is a guy that only got better in his time at Illinois, and we're going to benefit from him leaving to the transfer portal. That's not the only defensive tackle pickup that Michigan State has made out of the portal so far this season. Now, this happened a few days ago. From Toledo, Carlos Hazelwood, and like I said, from Toledo. So that means, yes, he is following general manager Brian Gasser, who was at Toledo previously, now on Pat Fitzgerald's staff. So this is a guy that I'm sure Brian Gasser helped identify as decent talent. He obviously clearly likes him. And, well, Hazelwood likes the vision that Rossi's setting out there. Pat Fitzgerald is setting. Now, not much to this kid's career just yet. Last year, as the 6'4", 270-pound freshman, he played 80 snaps, just 7 tackles. But, look, I know it's not a lot at a MAC level nonetheless, but here's the reality of the situation for defensive line for Michigan State is there were some positions that were neglected, and we've had so many episodes on Mel Tucker's shortcomings on recruiting that like you'll just spin yourself dizzy if you went back and listened to all those. But was it like all the much better under Jonathan Smith either? Because here's what defensive line recruiting has looked like the last few cycles. In 2022, you got Alex Van Sumeren, which was awesome. It's a bummer that he's left the team. It was a bigger bummer that he started with 2 big leg injuries, but let's move on in the conversation here. In 2023, they got no one for defensive tackle in that class. Now in 2024, they got Mike Schunbeeler. I believe that was a late addition to that class. 2025 class, hey, this was a good pickup. 4-star out of Frankenmuth, Derek Simmons. Cal Thrush, I guess if you want to count him as a defensive tackle, he came in a little undersized, kind of like a tweener. Is he a defensive end? Is he a defensive tackle? But for sake of conversation, sure, let's just throw him on the defensive tackle list. And then even this year, 2026, Hudson Altman, late addition. Flipped him from a MAC school close to signing day. So, look, that's Alex Van Sumeren. He's gone. No one in 2023. Mike Schunbeeler, Derek Simmons, Cal Thrush, if you want to count him, Hudson Altman. That's 4 guys over, the last 5 classes? Sure, you can go to the transfer portal, just like, Jonathan Smith did do this. Mel Tucker did do this. Yes, you can go to the transfer portal. It is clearly here for a reason. You picked up Jalen Sami. That was a great time. Dre Butler, Daquan Dowse, Ben Roberts, who's still on the team. Ruquan Buckley, Jalen Satchel. You guys know it, but it also helps to build a foundation of young players that you can continuously build on so you're not having to use resources and a lot of transfer portal openings on the same position over and over again. So, hey, there's a lot of faults that have happened in this program the last few years. This is hardly from the only issue and hardly from the only thing that's plaguing Michigan State in some areas of the transfer portal. But I just wanted to paint a picture like, why on earth did we get this Carlos Hazelwood kid who barely played at Toledo? Like, is this the best that we have to receive here? When you got to get 3-4 dozen players, kind of. Yeah, you got to stretch money thin. Like, you need all sorts of bodies. You need guys ready to contribute immediately. You need guys ready to contribute in 2027-28 because some positions were left pretty bare. So that's the latest with defensive line, transfer portal stuff. Now, we also did talk about this. The edge position, because, yes, they gotten some pickups for the edge, right? Like Trey Lyle from Southeast Missouri. Keenis Thompson from Weber State. And you do have Anelu Lafayette, who's coming back from a pretty major injury last year. And then also Corey House is a true freshman. And then Isaac Smith, I guess he's trying to get another year of eligibility. But Anelu Lafayette, coming off a big injury. Corey House has never played college football before. Trey Lyle, who was an edge at Southeast Missouri. Keenis Thompson, who played at Weber State, and he was fine enough there. And then Isaac Smith, okay, surely one of these the unannounced committed players has to be an edge, right? There's still like 5 or 6 of those where Pat Fitzgerald tweeted out the Pat signal, and then we never got a follow-up as to who that commit actually was. So whether it's, conversations that I've had where I can be able to connect the dots and assume that, yes, one of these are going to be an edge player. And also just there's no way that they're going to be comfortable just going into the season next year with this being your edge room. Yeah, I expect that Michigan State will add an edge here shortly. Not to sound like all threatening, but they better. Because, look, I'm sure these are all great kids. They got nothing but awesome Kenny Wilkes type careers ahead of them. But at the moment, Not necessarily one that I could just trust from day one. So, yeah, that's the latest, guys. All right, guys, let's get joined by Jacob Goins of Locked On Hoosiers, but first need to talk everyone's ears off about Wayfair. That's right, guys, because, well, who isn't trying to spruce up their living space, right, guys? The new year is here, and it's a perfect time to reset your routine and refresh your space. If you're spending more time at home, well, you might just, might as well love how it looks and feels, right? If you're going to spend all your time there, that's why you should turn to Wayfair. It's a one-stop shop for getting your home back on track. From bedding and mattresses to storage solutions for every room, Wayfair makes it easy to start the year fresh. Now, they have everything you need from a full home refresh all in one place. Whether you're updating your living room, organizing your space, upgrading your work from home setup, Wayfair's huge selection makes it easy to find exactly what works for your style and budget, guys. Shipping is easy, delivery is smooth, everything arrives exactly as expected, and honestly, it's made getting back into routine for this new year feel a lot more manageable. So thank you to Wayfair, guys. Now, you'll be thanking Wayfair too. Get organized, refresh, and back on track this new year for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now and shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. It's Wayfair, every style, every home. That's right, guys. It's time for a Locked On crossover. Over there, that strapping gentleman, Jacob Goins of Locked On Hoosiers. Hey, guys, what's up? It's Matt Sheehan of Locked On Spartans. And yes, we're going to get to this basketball game, tipping off 7 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. But Jacob, this is a football factory that we got right here. Not just with your team, but hey, our team too. Neither of our teams have lost a game since Thanksgiving. Let it be known, we are powerhouses in the Midwest and now nationally, Jacob. But
yes.
No, on a serious note, we're going to put you guys in the spotlight here for a quick second. We'll get to some former Michigan State players either already committed to your school or potentially soon to be committed to your school, but got this really big brain, well thought out question. Hopefully everyone can hang on. Hopefully everyone's IQ is high enough.
And I don't know what this is, by the way. He texted me that he had a question, but I swear on my life, I don't know what it is.
I rewrote it 45 times. I went through so many drafts of this question, but Jacob, honestly, try to encapsulate the whole Indiana fan base right here. Point blank, what's been the best part of this run? There's a lot of ways you can take it. It's a broad question, but seriously,
wow,
what has just been the best part for Indiana fans?
That's a really good question because there's so many different things that you could choose. You could choose a game, you could choose a play, you could choose a stretch, right? You could choose the Heisman Trophy, you could choose the Big Ten Championship, you could choose the playoffs. I mean, I think for me personally, Matt, it has been watching the country change its perspective on Indiana.
Okay.
That has been it for me. And I think for most Hoosiers fans, they are just enjoying the ride as they should. And then realizing that this isn't going anywhere. That's pretty damn cool to listen to.
Yeah.
But it's the idea of watching the entire country pick against you, and continue to just dominate and win. This picture behind me, for those of you on YouTube, that's the Illinois game all the way back in game 4 of the season when they were a top 10 team. That's where it all started. And it's just been uphill from here, and it's been awesome. So that I'll answer that way, man. I'll say just watching the country change its opinion one week at a time, one fan base at a time, to be like, all right, Indiana's actually kind of legit in football.
So it's a broad question. There's a lot of forks in the road with how to answer that, as you said. And there's another fork in the road, too, with the nation changing your perspective on Indiana football. Which fork is the sweeter one to drive down, though, Jacob? Is it now that fans are, hey, oh, my God, we have to respect Indiana. They are actually good. Or is it actually even sweeter to see a lot of other fans salty and say, oh, they must be cheating? Or the fake stat that's been going around that, Indiana's roster has an average of 23 to 24-year-olds, which you guys are experienced, no question there. I actually went and counted your starters. You just have 5 starters that are 5 or more years of eligibility.
Yeah.
Your real age, and it's hard to gauge it because you can't look up players' birthdays as easily. It's around 21 and a half years old. So still experienced, but it's got to be so sweet for you guys just to see everyone just now not only accept that you guys are good, but crying that you guys are good, right? That's got to be a little tasty.
It is. I'm so glad you brought that up.
I'm here for you.
I've pins on that every day so far, and late last week and early this week, because that's where we are, brother. That's where we are.
God, so lucky.
We have people. I know. I'm sorry, man. I hope you.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
You're telling me that Michigan State's never been accused of cheating?
Well, Izzo, yeah, he's been accused of paying players. Oh God, as long as the sun has been a thing. But no, you got the wrong school as far as that goes.
Oh,
football
my bad.
field, though. Yeah.
Oh,
that's right.
my bad. No, but I think it is awesome to see these fan bases, especially, and you can appreciate it, and your listeners will too. It's the SEC, right? The Southeastern Conference, man. They're so mad. They can't
They're handling this well.
They can't stand it. And when you beat their big bad brand logo of Alabama and just absolutely beat the snot out of them for 4 quarters in the Rose Bowl, they've just gone back and hid in the cave. They're crying in a fetal position. They don't know what to do. And doing that on the national stage has been fantastic. Other Big Ten programs are upset. Everybody across the country is trying to figure out what the heck is going on in Bloomington. It's a good coach, a great staff, and even better players. And Indiana is at the top of it. How long will it last? I don't know, but they're not going anywhere. So that's been a fun ride for sure.
It's happening for sure. And look, I mean, there's reason to believe that you guys can still, get better maybe next year. It's hard to beat what you guys are doing now, but absolutely stay on top of your game. And your transfer portal additions are a shining representation of that. One of them, Nick Marsh, wide receiver. I can only imagine the perception of the Hoosier fan base is like, just when does this fever dream stop? Because I don't want it to. Like, because congrats on getting Nick Marsh.
He's awesome. Thank you for coming on to talk about him.
Happy to.
That was before he committed, right? We were talking when he was visiting, and then it didn't take long, and he actually did. No, that's one of the many guys that the Hoosiers have brought in, and I know you guys at Michigan State are trying to find what those pieces are. I mean, I say this in a non-mean way. You're kind of taking whatever you can get your hands on right now, right? It's a new era there, trying to get whatever you can get, become a new Indiana where
we need like 40 players. Again. Yeah, it truly is. Like, we're just trying to stock shelves at this point with talent. Like, we want to make upgrades. Don't get it wrong, but we're not at a spot like Indiana where it's like, oh, we just need like 10 players next year or 15 players. Like, well, let's ball out. No, we need everything. So
Indiana has gone. Nick Marsh is an obvious one. Michigan State running back is supposed to be visiting this week. It's a dead period right now, right? Dead period. Sure. 12th, 13th, and 14th, but getting on the schedule, believe on the 15th is y'all's running back. So kind of see what that happens and how that goes there. You've got defensive linemen, you've got corners, you've got safeties, you've got receivers, you have another running back. Josh Hoover, the quarterback, is expected, of course, to be the starter next year. But of course, offensive lineman is the one that fans are extremely concerned about, and rightfully so. But portal season's been fun, my man. It's been fun, at least here in Bloomington. I hope that Michigan State can find some dudes, find some rhythm there in the portal. I don't know what recruiting looks like. I'm sure it's probably not great with all the changes and things, but all of that's got to get fixed there in East Lansing.
We're getting dudes. That's not the issue. It's just like, how impactful can they be from, game 1, week 1, of course, under Pat Fitzgerald. So
I love that hire, by the way. I love that hire. I do.
I'm fine with it. I think it, Jacob,
just
we're supposed to have that's the thing. We're supposed to have piping hot takes. We're supposed to come on here, rip our shirts off while we bark the hottest takes possible. But I went the lazy. I got to see, I don't know. I had to see the hires. I thought the hires were okay. I like keeping Joe Rossi, the defensive coordinator. That's all fun and well. Mm-hmm. The Nick Sheridan, who Hoosier fans know, from a few years back, I don't. He lost his play calling duties, but when he had the play calling duties, Alabama was a lot better. They weren't able to run the ball this year, though. How on earth is that even possible at a place like Alabama? And now he's coming up here. It's not like it's great shakes of the offensive line right now. So I'm just I got to do something that I hate doing, Jacob, and that's just be patient and actually just wait for things to unfold.
In today's era, in 2026?
I know I'm not going to, but for the time being, I'm still holding on to this rope of patience. But whatever, man. I think it's fine. I love the energy that he brings. He has only reignited, the fan base, and that's not saying a lot because our pulse was flatlined at the very final weeks of the last guy here. No disrespect, but that's just the fact of the matter. But we're seeing some energy come up, not just with the fan base, but also the players too. So that's all fun and well. Really quick, I am fascinated with this Mekhi Frazier thing. I don't even have a question. I thought he was good for Michigan State. I thought he had good vision. He made good cuts. He didn't necessarily have that breakaway speed at that third level to get away from the defense. But
that's what I noticed when watching film. He's not the fastest guy, but he's patient. That's what I love. He's patient. Very, very patient.
He is incredible, right? And you can actually be patient at a place like Indiana that might have good offensive line play, and he was still getting stuff done here at Michigan State with poor offensive line play. Mm-hmm. But man, when he left for the portal, good luck to him. I know that it didn't really end well between him and the last staff here. So the last month he was very sparsely used, let's just say. Anyway,
funny how that works.
Yeah, when he enters the portal, I'm thinking, well, hey, he'll get another Power 4 role. Maybe like, I don't know, just West Virginia, for example, or what's another middling school? He's visited Penn State. He's going to visit Indiana. He's had Auburn interest. He's had Florida ring his phone. Like, wow. I don't have a question. This is the most perplexing one for me where, hey, you're getting a lot more attention than I ever thought you would. So good on Mekhi Frazier.
I think he'll fit.
He commits to Indiana.
Yeah. If he does, right? And again, it's a dead period. He's scheduled. I think the 15th is confirmed. I think I talked about that earlier in this
I think I saw
my channel. But if he were to commit to Indiana, that is a solid pickup. We've already picked up one in Turbo Richard from Boston College. He's a guy that just runs like he's mad at the earth, right? It just stomps the ground. Sure. You're also bringing back your star freshman, Kobe Martin. You have Lee Beebe Jr. The running back room is fine. Mm-hmm. This would be the final, to everybody in college football of we have another stud in the running back rotation. I hope so. I hope it works out, and I think Indiana has a great shot to make it happen.
Let's get to a national championship prediction at the very end of the show. We'll also do a basketball prediction. So, yeah, that's right. Stay tuned for a double prediction feature. What? We're just two little predicting machines over here, Jacob. But first, need to talk your ears off about GameTime. That's right, the greatest ticketing app out there. And, guys, we already know it. There's nothing like the college football season. We're talking tailgates, packed stadiums, being right there in the middle of it all. And wouldn't you know, there's just one game left. And some of you guys might be thinking, how can I get to this game and just save any shred of money here as these tickets are going for $1 skrillion the last time I have checked? Well, GameTime might be your best spot here because, look, we're still about a week out from this game. You can still save with flash deals, of course, or, hey, this isn't just for the national title game. This is for tonight's game at Breslin Center. Spartan fans, if you're listening, you can save with last-minute ticket deals, even if it's just an hour, 30 minutes, 5 minutes before tip. Open up that phone. You're going to save money with GameTime. It is 2 taps on your phone. Tickets are sent straight there. There's no funny business with GameTime, Jacob. It is my favorite ticketing app out there. So, guys, check it out for yourself. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download the GameTime app today. All right, let's talk a little bit of basketball here, Jacob, because...
That's okay. That's all right. I mean, we can end it right here if you want to.
Don't do this. No, because I remember last year... Here I come. And I'm not one to overly beat my chest, but I was pretty confident when we were talking about, Hoosiers at Breslin Center. Our Spartans are, 11-point favorites. How can you guys keep it close?
And I was not confident. I said, you're going to kill us. You're going to kill us.
So we did the whole rigmarole. We did the talk because that's what we do. We did the whole little patty cake. Oh, how can you guys keep it scrappy? You guys didn't keep it scrappy. You just straight up won, and it was a decisive victory. Never did it even seem like a close game in the final 30 minutes of it anyway. So, yeah, Jacob, we're going to talk about the basketball game because this time you're just 6.5-point underdogs. Yeah. And you guys can, shoot the piss out of the ball. I mean,
it's stupid.
Tell me the story here. Right.
That is the story, is when they want to, when they're on, I don't even know what to compare it to because when they're on, they shoot like the Golden State Warriors. But when they're not, they shoot like you and I, which is bad for people that haven't seen us, right? We're not. Well, no, there's a reason we podcast about basketball.
Yes, correct.
Play basketball, okay?
Correct.
When the Hoosiers are on, they can drop 100 on just about anybody, and they can beat anybody in the country. I firmly believe that. Here's the issue. That's every other night, every third game, and the defense is still horrific for the Hoosiers. Okay. They were up by 16, Matt. 16 against Nebraska.
I did watch that second half, yeah. Ugh.
At home in Assembly Hall against a top 10, top 15 team, and they blew it. They absolutely blew it. Why? Yeah. Because they didn't shoot 55% in the second half like they did in the first half. Their defense is lazy. They're terrible. They slap their hands. They get out of the way. They don't get back. They just don't play defense. So when it's great, it's fun. It's awesome. It's one of the best brands of basketball when it's working. But away from Assembly Hall has been horrific horrific. The only 2 games you've won are against Marquette neutral site, and Marquette absolutely stinks. And then you won on the road at Maryland.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
know.
So
yeah, I know.
My confidence is not high yet again this year, which maybe that'll lead to Indiana winning. I don't trust the Hoosiers to get stops when they need to rebound like they're supposed to, and shoot the way they need to in a hostile environment like they're going to see in East Lansing tonight. I have no confidence in that. I really don't.
Is it just easy to say for this game that the brightest spotlight, at least on the Hoosiers, shines on Lamar Wilkerson because this guy's 4th leading scorer in the Big Ten, 20.3 points per game. He dropped 32 against Nebraska. He really cranked up the temperature against Penn State, 44 against the Nittany Lions. My God, what kind of a grudge does he have against them? But yeah, this guy's on fire. Is it just simple to say if it ain't going for him, then it's not going to go for the whole team?
Yeah, if you stop him, you win. It is that simple. Because here's the problem. Because nobody on this team for Indiana has consistently shown up, stepped up, said, hey, I want to be a guy too. I want to be number 2. I want to be a part of this. Let me be a part of this rotation. Nobody has done that for this Indiana team. Tucker DeVries, I'll say it, he's been a disappointment the last month or so
interesting.
For the Indiana Hoosiers. Tayton Conaway could be that guy, but he's hit or miss. And other than that, your bigs are not effective in Reed Bailey and Sam Alexis when they need to be, especially against a Michigan State team that rebounds the basketball just phenomenally. 2 guys that average, 10 and 7, did I see that? Another guy that averages 5. Like,
it's great.
Michigan State averages almost, mental math, 5 or 6 more rebounds per game than Indiana, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's astronomical in terms of averages. And so, here's the problem, though. Even if Lamar Wilkerson is on, let him go for 50. The Hoosiers can't score outside of him consistently to win this basketball game, in my opinion. But I need to hear a little bit about the Spartans. How are they going to do it? Is it the old traditional way? I've watched enough of them already this year. It's an Izzo team, brother.
Kind of is. You've already said it with all the rebounding. They are, I don't even know if it's arguably, but they're, in my opinion, the best rebounding team in the Big Ten. I mean, they're awesome. They are a physical brand on defense. And when you play in your home barn, well, that also helps too. Who are weak hitting? So they got both of those things going for them. But I also love what I saw, and this isn't too long ago when Michigan State played against USC. Coen Carr, he might have the brightest spotlight on him for the Michigan State side of things. And that's not to say he's been playing the best, but he could be the most important in this game.
Okay.
Because we just saw him lock down if I could say his name properly, Chad Baker Mazzara. All 39 years old of him. That's right. He held him silent pretty much anytime he was on the court. So look, Coen Carr, freakish athlete. He will get muddy up in the rebounds. He will block you in transition, but his defense was also a shining light against USC. Will he be the one that is in Wilkerson's shadow? I do wonder, and I'm sure they're going to throw different bodies at him. But primarily, I think that's the way they're going to go here. So outside of him, you got Jackson Kohler, who in just 5 Big Ten games, he's shooting 61% from 3, which, on one hand, can't be sustainable. Like, that market correction is going to happen eventually. But on the other hand, I mean, my God, these aren't even hitting the rim. These are all pure off his hands. So now that I've said that, and I'm going to jinx him for tonight's game into an 0-6 performance, there's a lot of other guys around him, too. Jordan Scott's been really solid as a freshman. Cam Ward is just as physical as ever as a true freshman that you've ever seen. And Carson Cooper, you talk about staying at Michigan State, having a 4-year development guy. No one's done it better than him in recent memory. So, it's just a classic Tom Izzo, old, experienced, well-developed, well-rebounding physical team, Jake.
It's what it looks like. I mean, expectations for you guys at this point, I know we got to wrap up here, but expectations on the season. We're only a few games into the Big Ten schedule. Reminder for fans listening at home or wherever you're listening. We play twice this year, right? Yes. Indiana coming to East Lansing, and then Michigan State makes the return trip to Assembly Hall on March 1st. I believe that's a Saturday. So third to last game of the year. But expectations for Michigan State, I'll tell you, for the Hoosiers, making the tournament right now would be cool. And that was the expectation going into the season, was because all new players. That's the thing. If Michigan State fans don't realize that, there are 0 returning players from last year. New coach, new staff, new players, the whole shebang. So making the tournament is a good starting point, since you didn't make it a year ago. But even with what we've seen so far, here's the stretch for Indiana right now. To number 10, Nebraska, number 12, Michigan State. Iowa just fell out of the top 25, but still a solid team. On the road at Michigan. And then you have Rutgers and then Purdue. So the Hoosiers, making the tournament is isn't that
oh my
brutal?
God.
Isn't that brutal? So for Indiana, make the tournament. Cool. If not, just chalk it up to a new team and get some recruits in here. But for Michigan State, what are we thinking? Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final Four, Natty, what are we thinking?
Of course, all eyes are always on March. You want to improve on last year's Elite 8. And I think this team does have the horses to make a Final Four run. But tell me if this is just naive, if I'm just too much of a fanboy over here. Right now, FanDuel has Michigan State's odds of winning the Big Ten in 5th place, right? They're at 22-1. Ahead of them, Illinois is 10-1. Nebraska is plus 750. And then Purdue, like plus 200, and Michigan minus 125. So they are like so far in the distance of the top guys, Michigan and Purdue. And
I don't like that.
At the time, Michigan and Purdue, yes, they are the better team right now, but I don't think the gap is that big. We also got 15 games left. Michigan State really came along well, and they always seem to come along well in February. So am I just this whimsical, boyish Michigan State fan that's saying, oh, no, we're right there with them? Because I really do feel like we have a chance to win this thing. So
I do too.
Yeah,
if you could bet Michigan State to finish second, that would be the bet, to take them to finish second with our friends at FanDuel. I don't know if they have that or not, but
I will be making
see what you can do.
Yeah, no question. Yeah. Well, really quick here, 2 predictions. Michigan State, Indiana. We're going to go on the hardwood for this one here because the predicted final score on Bart Torvik, 72-67. I'm not going to stray too far from that. I'll go 75 Michigan State to 69 Indiana. A little closer. A cover for Indiana because FanDuel has you guys 6.5-point underdogs.
I do not trust Indiana's defense to stop Michigan State because in games like this, they couldn't stop a toddler if it was crawling at them. So I will say because Michigan State calls off the dogs down the stretch, I will say 88 for the Spartans, and I'll say 72-73 for the Hoosiers. Unless they surprise me and change their identity overnight, defense is an issue. Shooting is great until it's not, and I just don't trust somebody else to step up on this Indiana team. So, and rebounding is going to be a massacre. So, give me Michigan State big in this basketball game tonight.
From one massacre to potentially another, Indiana?
I hope so. God, I hope so.
What do you got here? Have you made a prediction yet? Okay.
I have not. Made an official prediction, but I do like Indiana to win just to kind of go ahead and give that away. I just think they're the better team. They're the better team. Sure. And if you bet against Indiana, you've lost a lot of money. So
you have no idea. Yeah. No idea.
Sorry, I didn't know that hit so close to home. My bad.
Oh, no, it's okay. No losses, only lessons here. That's all we do.
Oh, look at you. Right. You're learning. I'm so proud of you. So you're one of the people I was talking about. You've learned and now respecting Indiana. I'm so proud of you.
And I'm ready to make one more financial loss, too, because someone on this call made a future bet before the playoffs started for the Miami Hurricanes to win the national title. I love their trenches. I love that the last game is at their home stadium. But do you know what else I love, Jacob? Is actually, you know what? Yeah. I actually think I've seen enough. I think it was the 16th touchdown against Alabama is when I realized, okay, I should maybe just go ahead and cash that Miami bet out because even if these teams meet up, it's not going to end well. So
look at this guy. What a guy.
Hey,
team player.
And you get one more game of this because, look, I love the story. It has been awesome following you guys. This isn't like a root for your conference sort of thing. I don't do that. I just genuinely think that this is a sweet story. And I've only had great interactions with Indiana fans. But this is the last game that this happens because next year it stops getting fun. All right,
I love it. I'm going to soak it in right now.
Over after 2 years, so
I'm going to screenshot this as soon as we post it. I will savor this moment.
Screenshot for anyone watching on YouTube. That's right.
I know you're one of my favorites on this network.
I just try to ham it up for you. I had to overnight shift this shirt just for this phone call, Jacob. So look at me here.
Did you actually? Oh.
No, I'm not. No, Homefield, wonderful apparel company. I always do their mystery boxes. I got Indiana once and. Hey, you know what? I just like the Miami mascot, so I just bought this shirt. So
heck yeah.
Why not? So, guys, that's Jacob Goins over there, Locked On Hoosiers. Over here, Matt Sheehan, Locked On Spartans. Whatever happens, whether it's the portal, whether it's a national championship game buildup, or whatever happens on the basketball court at Breslin Center, guys, check the recap over on our shows. You guys are all the best. Good luck to your Hoosiers in the national title game. I genuinely mean that, and I will never mean it after that. So, you're the best, Jacob. Appreciate you, man.
Same to you, brother. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you guys.